Hey everyone, good morning. We are having all these tech issues. Do you see over this, Jeff? We are not streaming on Twitter right now. Our
What?
Facebook group isn't working.
It's showing to me that we're streaming on Twitter.
Oh, we're streaming on the Twitter. No, on Twitter it says we're not streaming.
Oh, it shows me that we're streaming. What is going on? So I'm seeing nothing but green check marks, which means good. Actually, no, you're right. It doesn't have a green check mark.
Hashtag tech problems. I don't know what to say, guys. We did this on Friday with the tech issues, but we are embracing it. We will fix this later, Jeff.
Right, it says go live. Like there's a button there. We could push it and see what happens. I don't know.
You should know that I've clicked them all as I've.
Oh, you've clicked it again? Oh, okay. Well, never mind. All right. Well, I guess this is what's going on.
Buddy, click away. I encourage you. Click.
You want me to try? Okay, let me see if I can click away.
It's not going to work, friends. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Daily Drop-In. Whether you are watching on only Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch, we are still thrilled you're here. You might also be catching this over as an episode of Teach Pride Talk podcast, which is uploaded every single day after our live show. So we want to wish you a wonderful good morning. Happy Monday, September 27th. And don't worry, just like we said Friday, we are having tech issues, which means you're not going to have any hurdles ahead of you this morning. Because
we're taking them for you.
We're taking care of it for you. So in some regard, you're welcome. We'll be right back because we have a whole show ahead of you, even if we're only going to stream in one location, only be able to reach some of our friends this morning. But we'll have good news, just like always, celebrations, just like always. Brainstorm Bank is full of a brand new theme this week, which we are like kind of nerding out about. Jeff and I were talking about this earlier before we went live. And then we will obviously get into a little bit of a preview of our week, which is going to be a doozy. So we'll be right back. Go fill up your coffee. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Daily Drop-In. Here is our morning cheers coffee cup. Morning, Jeff. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. I was laughing because you said we're only on like one spot, but I'm like, okay, so Twitter's not working, but we're still on Facebook and YouTube and Twitch. So like you can find it still.
It just feels awkward.
I know.
Okay, let's go through the boring stuff for our friends because it's bright and early. So we're going to get started slow here. We typically stream, to get very, very specific, okay, on the Teach Better Team Facebook page, which, by the way, if you guys haven't liked that page, go do that because, we always appreciate being able to reach a wider audience. We also stream within the Teach Better Team private Facebook group. So that's 2 places on Facebook. That's what feels weird right now. We're not streaming in the group. We also are on the Teach Better Team YouTube channel, which, by the way, if you haven't liked and subscribed to that, then go take care of that too. We also typically stream on Twitter, but we stream on Twitter in 2 different places. We do the Teach Better Team Twitter and typically my Twitter account. Mm-hmm. So go follow those 2 accounts, or at least the Teach Better Team. That's the important one. And then last but not least, we stream on Twitch. So we typically stream like 6 places, although it's 4 platforms. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. But right now we're on 3 platforms and but 3 places because we lost one of the Facebooks.
Yeah.
And both the Twitter.
All I'm saying is
I'm not sure I can handle this. I think I'm done.
If you're on Twitter and you wouldn't mind grabbing the link from like YouTube or Facebook and sharing it on Twitter, but I feel like our Twitter friends will find us. I
hope so. If you are watching on someone else, that'd be great. Like share it out on Twitter. Be like, hey, Twitter's whatever. So I think what's happening, Ray, is Twitter is like getting rid of Periscope like for good. I think is coming down the pipe, and I think that things are starting to disconnect because of that. So.
To be fair, though, our issue on Friday was only our Facebook group.
Well, then maybe it's a StreamYard thing.
I don't know. All I know is that this is going to be the focus of my day after Daily Drop-In is figuring out how to reach our audience.
I don't know. I don't have any hard evidence, but I'm inclined to blame Brad Hughes. Like this all started Friday. I'm pretty sure it's Brad's fault. So someone dig into that. Let me know. That'd be great.
Sorry, Brad. We are thrilled that all of you are here, though, this morning. We're getting a lot of comments. And like we said earlier, our tech issues are actually a celebration for all of you because since we're having all these hurdles, your day's done. You've already checked the box of like an annoying hurdle in your day. We got that taken care of. So good morning. You have only a great day ahead of you, and you're welcome. So it'll be good. Yeah. Jeff, we have a lot of friends here this morning that are obviously very excited to see you. We can say good morning to Adam and Andrea, Sandra. I have a meeting with Sandra later this week.
Do you really?
I know. She wants to talk shop about like all the things going on in her classroom, but also she took the new course in the academy.
And the new idea course.
The new idea course.
Brand new course.
Like, brainstorm ideas, which I'm so stoked about.
I have a meeting with Katie Maglin later this week. So
what?
Yeah.
What?
Every week, actually.
Okay, wait. Also, can we talk about it's Adam's birthday? Adam, happy birthday!
Happy birthday, Adam!
Thanks for letting us know. It's so fun and so good to see you. And Brianne Fennell's here. Brianne is actually the person who submitted our good news for this morning. So we have a lot to celebrate. There's a lot.
Nice. Good morning. This is a good morning. I like it.
Before we get into all the fancy stuff, what's up, Jeff? How's life? How's your weekend? Was it good?
My weekend was good. We got to do some Cub Scouting on Saturday and sell popcorn and stuff with the kids, which was fun. It was like their first thing they had to do after the first. They just started Cub Scouts, so that was fun. And got to see a bunch of my family yesterday. We went out to my parents' house for my grandmother's birthday, so that was fun. It was good. It was good. My brother Paul got married last Friday.
I know that
on the beach in North Carolina, which is awesome. So that's super excited. So
and with their dog, I really love
the dogs.
Yeah, very casual, beautiful look like ceremony. I only saw the pictures you posted, but they were so happy, and it was such a beautiful atmosphere. It's like, oh.
And the dog was there, which is what you really care about. Yeah, Henry was there. Yes,
I love it. Love it. Was that planned? Like you knew that was going to happen? Or was
they're actually they were going to do it on Wednesday, and it was raining and ugly. And since it was literally just them and the dog, and then it's a husband and wife that do like a beach theme. They do the conch shell and stuff, and they do picture everything together. And you're allowed to reschedule once. I think because they assume most people that are doing that want like a nice sunset or sunrise or whatever. So they rescheduled for Friday. The weather was better, and it was a little chilly, they said, but other than that, it was beautiful, perfect form. So,
well, cheers to them. That's so
cheers exciting. To them. How about you? How was your weekend? Anything exciting?
Tried out a few new restaurants, which is always fun. I moved to a new town a few months ago, and there's only about 500,000 restaurants when I just moved, give or take 5 or 6. So, I tried out 3 new places this weekend, which was fun. I also did, not to brag, some coffee shop work this weekend, and that's my dream. So I was very happy about that. Yes, for sure. So it was a good weekend for sure. I know we're getting a lot of pop-ups on this end.
I know we're getting more.
In case we didn't know that we're not streaming everywhere. It's like
just so you all know, they're letting us know that we're not. Yes.
I wish you guys could see the back end sometimes because it's a lot to look at. Like all the moving pieces of kind of being in the background of the live stream. And when things pop up in front of your screen, it's like, oh, try not to make a face. You know what I mean?
We've done a great job of that clearly this morning. Where not only have we both made faces, then we've addressed it. So, welcome to our world.
Monday.
It is Monday.
7:08 Eastern AM. I mean, it is time to party. Our week is ahead of us, and it's going to be a good one for sure. Do you have anything exciting going on later today? I know that's
right after this. I got to jump in my car and go meet Chad Ostrowski because we're going to go have a meeting with a whole bunch of leaders in a district. So that's fun.
Wait, legit?
Legit. And then a little bit after that, I get to meet with you and Chad and Dave too. So that's exciting.
I was like, does our meeting get canceled if you're going to go hang out with
No,
Chad?
Well, we should be back. We should be done and back in time. Should be fine. Should be. I'll text you if we're not, but we should be. And then I get to meet right after our meeting, I get to meet with Dave, just me and Dave. And then I get to meet with Heather. I got meetings basically today.
All day.
And I got I'm on a podcast later, and then I'm an Edupreneur Master. Monday's a good day. It's a good day today.
So I've been looking at your schedule, and not to sound like a stalker, but I've been checking out your calendar, Mr. Jeff Gargas. And you are like swamped Mondays, swamped Tuesdays, and then it gets quieter Wednesday, Thursday, Fridays.
It does. Wednesday has become like my day where I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get some stuff done Wednesday.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how that, which is funny because if like we use Calendly to allow people to like grab time for us really easy. Like I block off my Mondays. Like I'm not supposed to, but then I fill them with team stuff, I think is what happens. I don't know. But yes, that's Wednesday chills out a little bit.
If any of you are trying to meet with Jeff, really try and do it on a Monday and Tuesday just to mess with him because he's super swamped those 2 days. So if you squeeze in a meeting, it's funny.
Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesdays are pretty.
Homework assignment for all of you here. Try and go grab any open time slot on Jeff Gargas's calendar.
Calendly.com/Jeff Gargas. Come on, let's hang out. I'm all right with that. Yeah. I won't fight that.
Well, and it was funny because my calendar is ending up the same way. And when Sandra
was going to say, you're talking about my calendar.
Well, she booked a meeting for Thursday, and I'm like, Thursdays are great. It's usually quiet on Thursdays. I can't wait to talk shop with her. So
it's probably not quiet though.
Well,
you have so many like weekly meetings with members of our team that I feel like your schedule's just always busy.
But it's kind of like a teacher, right? Like you're going go, 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 go. And then you just hit a chunk where now you get to have your own time. And sometimes your own time is 35 seconds. And sometimes your own time is hours.
It's from like 1 to 3 on a Saturday. Is that what your own time is?
But I love that stuff.
To try those restaurants.
I love being able to be like, okay, these next 45 seconds or these next 45 minutes are mine to spend, go curl up with the dogs or check an email. It's life.
I love it. Sandra, can I come too? Can I come? Let me know in the comments.
You are not invited. Look at this comment. Looking forward to it. It was not looking forward to it, ... Wish Jeff Gargas was there. Like that's not.
There's still time. She can still type another comment.
Nope, not happening.
Hold my breath.
I will say, Jeff, I don't know what the daily show, what the daily drop-in will like kind of turn into as it continues to evolve. But I am meeting with someone for lunch today that I think would be an outstanding guest on the Daily Drop-In. She's not in education, but she is a professional artist. Ooh. And all of her work is like rooted in so many different pieces that I feel like we utilize in education of like different mediums and modalities and like the themes in which she picks her artwork. She would be somebody maybe someday on a whim we might have to interview because she is so artistic and the way she expresses herself is so beautiful. I just would love to have her on the show.
I think she'd do like a live sketch or like live drawing or whatever.
Cool? Even if we brought her on for like a segment, like maybe she wouldn't be I don't know, just something awesome.
That led me into this, so I'm just gonna say it. I'm just gonna put it out there live. Like I think it'd be really cool to have a third person in here, and it's Brianne Fennell doing sketch notes, like just her sketch notes to the Daily Drop. And I don't know if you saw her exclusive training last week with ambassadors, but it was really cool because they all did it. So anyway, fun stuff. That's exciting. We have really cool people in our world. You know that?
We do. And we were able to talk about that a little bit last week. I don't know when last week we talked about Brianne's sketchnoting PD. It was sometime during Daily Drop-In, because we were discussing how good, because just to clarify, friends, that was an exclusive PD to our ambassadors. So only our ambassadors were invited to that special training. And she did a great job, not only sharing an idea, sharing a concept, but I really felt like she approached it like we all should, like as a teacher, where she was truly teaching the experience, how to get started. It was so applicable. She did a phenomenal job. So
yeah, it was cool.
She should just be a staple on Daily
Drop-In. She should be a teacher. She'd be a really great teacher. I really think she's got all the qualities. Bree should really consider being a teacher.
Bree's been a teacher forever. Bree was born a teacher.
She was born a teacher.
All right. Speaking of Bree, we're going to get into our good news story because Bree actually shared this with me, and I love that she was able to share this. So if any of you ever come across good news stories, we'd love to have you. She Facebook DM'd me, so whatever works for all of you. But we do a good news story every single day to try and share some positivity, some fun facts. Maybe it's a conversation starter in your day, something that you can utilize with your students. I love that she was able to share something interesting, a really cool article with us. So excited to get into that, and also the celebrations coming our way. So we'll be right back. All right, good morning. We're thrilled that you're here for the Daily Drop-In every single morning at 7 a.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday. Jeff, for our good news story, we typically have a good news article and some holidays that we're going to be celebrating. What are you in the mood for today? You want to go holidays first or article first?
Let's. I want to celebrate the holidays, and then we'll build anticipation for the story that Bree shared with us for the good news.
That's fine with me. And let me pull up those holidays. So as you guys know, we have so many different places that we've been collecting holidays. Rachel, shout out to Rachel on the Teach Better team, put together a whole list to note some big holidays, religious holidays going on. The Jewish faith is still celebrating Sukkot, which is a important holiday, kind of minor on the list. It has to do with the harvest. And actually, there's a Muslim holiday that just started that I was practicing the pronunciation of because I don't have any familiarity with this. But it's Arba'im, and it is a holiday that has to do with the pilgrimage that they go through. So both holidays, from what I understand, are relatively small holidays, but still important. From what my research, there isn't any fasting or big celebration that comes with this. It's more of an acknowledgement. There's usually some kind of prayer in these faiths. But just cool to know that people in your world, people possibly in your classroom are celebrating something special at home, which we always appreciate being able to celebrate. There's also some goofy holidays going on today. It's World Tourism Day, which is always good. I feel like we all could use a great vacation. Unfortunately, I don't think that that's in my schedule today, but
no.
Still very much love it. I also thought it was interesting. It's National Chocolate Milk Day. Are you a chocolate milk fan?
Well, so I'm lactose intolerant, so not anymore, but I used to be a huge chocolate milk fan.
But there's some fake milk equivalents,
which I've done, Which so I've done. There's some really good oat milk, a chocolate oat milk that's good and stuff. But now that makes me think about something that they call the chocolate milk mile.
What is that?
Which is where you go on a track, and then you run your quarter mile, so a full lap, and then you down a cup of chocolate milk.
Ew.
And you run a second lap. You down a cup of chocolate milk. You run a third lap. You down a cup of chocolate milk. Then you run that fourth lap, and this is how Coach Bennett from Nike Run Plus Club explains it in your ear. He's like, then you run that fourth lap, and you try to do it without losing the race, your chocolate milk or your dignity. And that's the thing. But apparently that's a thing that people do. I've never done it, but I have this idea that someday I'm going to challenge probably Chad and Dave to that just to see how bad it goes. But
in what world did you think bringing up vomiting on is a good idea at 7 in the morning? What is going on?
Good news, I guess. I don't know.
No.
You can ask.
That was a terrible.
If there are any phys ed teachers out there today, it could be a great experiment in your classroom or science, possibly. I don't know how. Maybe that ties into that more in biology. I don't know.
We have to move on. So, this is the most disgusting conversation we've had this early in the morning.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Adam threw in the comments that he has a daily chocolate milk during cafeteria duty. If I had cafeteria duty, I would 1,000% be drinking chocolate milk.
So my theory, and this is not rooted in any science at all, but my theory from a medical professional of why I'm lactose intolerant, because I wasn't before, but I had a period of my life where I managed a Caribou coffee. And I'd go in bright and early every morning, and I would get the 44-ounce frozen cups, and I would make myself a massive milk chocolate or chocolate milk. And I do 2 to 3 of those a day. And so I have this theory that I think across those couple years, I made myself because my body's hey, dude, I think we're done. So I think that's what happened. So it's chocolate milk.
Oh my gosh. I just want you guys to know that, you know how you can like a video or laugh at a video? I guess on Facebook is where you have all those choices.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys put the vomit face, we'd understand.
If you want to comment on that.
I'm giving you permission that right now, typically you guys are hearts and and love. And right now, if you guys were negative, this is terrible, puke face, to be honest, we get it. Just so you know. Listen. We understand.
It was your decision to put me on the show.
I should not have mentioned. You know what? I want to formally apologize to our friends. I shouldn't have mentioned it was National Chocolate Milk Day. I don't know what I was thinking. I apologize. Okay, this was actually what I wanted to get to.
Let's go there, yeah.
Jeff, we were going to move into, but you took it a different direction than expected. I read this and got really excited and then realized it was different, still exciting, but different than I thought. So today is also National Crush Day. What did you think of when I said National Crush Day?
Crush the turtle from Finding Nemo.
Oh, okay.
Does anybody else think of anything different?
Well, I thought it was like, love, like somebody that you have a crush on.
Is it the crush like the soda drink?
I also thought it was the soda. That was my second thought. No, it's do your part in protecting Mother Earth by crush, pun intended, the issue of global wastage. So it's like going through like crushing your cans, like
okay,
like acknowledging, like pollution.
So kind of like a crush, but on the world, on Mother Nature more than anything.
Yeah. Yes, but I was with like. There's some comments like Orange Crush, middle school crushes. Like, yeah, that's what I thought too.
Yeah.
Like if you're out there in the Teach Better world and you have a crush on somebody, today is not the day to celebrate that.
No. But if you have a can laying around of Orange Crush, make sure you crush it.
Make sure you crush it. Yeah, with your foot or your hand. I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah, that'd be good.
I gotta ask you as a middle school teacher, like what's the more I don't want to say better, but like more excited in conversation with middle schoolers? Crush like as in, oh, I like him or her, or crush as in like let's crush some stuff.
You know what?
Like, and I could think of the many ways to go, but like what's gonna like create like the
okay, so like truly, and the teachers out there, this is right. It depends on the class hour. Like as a middle school teacher, the first hour would love like the conversation of soda, but then you'd get to fourth hour and they'd be like, let's talk about ladies and gentlemen. You know what I mean? Like it would totally depend on the class makeup.
Would you take it to Mother Nature at all, or just soda or love?
No, I think also you'd get to fifth hour and they'd be like, oh, Mother Nature, let's talk about the political issues in society. I just truly feel like it depends on the class hour. I need some comments if I'm right. Somebody in the comments.
I just see Adam's leaving. Have a great birthday, brother. Thank you.
Happy birthday, Adam.
Yeah, I'd really like to see that too, those comments, to see like what, because I think that's an interesting take. I like it.
Because obviously elementary school, you have one class typically all day long.
Yep.
For middle school, you have changing classes, same for high school, changing classes. And I just think the makeup of those changing classes really depends on what kind of like hits home, which is why teachers are constantly adjusting and tweaking and thinking.
Because the personalities in there impact all of that so much.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really, you have to constantly be on top of it. We're getting some backup here. Andrea says, oh, for sure. Katie's saying, yes, it all depends. Oh, I love this. Brandon Oates jumping in. Good morning. He's saying you're right, Ray. He teaches 8th graders too.
So he gets it, yeah.
The gamut here. So funny. They do always want to talk about their love life in middle school, though. That's true. Yeah.
Man, to be back in middle school with love life.
We do kind of sometimes talk about your love life. I mean, Amy is the best person ever. So, I mean,
we do sometimes talk about my love life. You're right.
Be fun. Anyway, should we get this article?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. This one I thought is cool. And we're, ooh. Wait. So this is like good connection from what we were talking about to what we're going into. I don't know. I'm just letting you know. This actually fits really well.
I'm excited. Wow, are we whispering? I feel like you're whispering.
I feel like if I was smart,
they can still hear you. It's not just you.
If I was smart, I wouldn't have noted this cool transition. I would have just done it. But I wasn't smooth enough to do it. So now I'm letting you know.
If you do it smooth, no one will know we talked about it. Like, get ready and go.
Here we go. Hey, speaking of middle schoolers, meet the 14-year-old girl whose solar paneled invention is a finalist for Prince William's Earthshot Prize. Middle schooler coming up with some good information here. Venetia is an incredible 14-year-old who is looking at how her work can impact the environment. She knows that the future looks very different for her generation if the world doesn't act to slow global warming. Go figure, we were just talking about that. And in an effort to combat climate change, she has continued to being an advocate and an optimist for people her age that are going to really choose to change how our progress is going in this area. There's going through all these different things that she does, but essentially her invention is now getting global recognition because she is a finalist for the first Earthshot Prize, awarding her $1.3 million if she wins. This is in connection to Prince William, the Duke of Cambridge. The initiative plans to give $68 million in awards over the next decade to people working to solve environmental problems, with an aim of providing at least 50 solutions to the world's greatest problem by 2030. Very, very cool.
Two takeaways. One, she clearly is crushing on Mother Nature.
Yes, she is.
Two, when I hear a story like that, I can't help but go, what am I doing with my life?
Right?
Like, she's 14. Like, seriously. Wow, that's like, where's she? Did it say where she's from? Did I miss that?
I know she's in the U.S. It does.
She's in the U.S. Okay.
But it should stay here. It should say, I'm sure, somewhere. Well,
I just didn't know if she was in the United States or somewhere over in Europe or where she was. But that's awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah, wonderful things. Go check that out. That was a Times Magazine brought to you by Apple News, shared by the one and only Brianne Fennell and the Teach Better family. So shout out to Bree sharing that good news to us. I thought that would be a really good article also. Obviously, it's a good conversation starter in general, but that would be a really good one to start with students because she's 14, because this is an award that really any student could choose to begin to be a part of in some way, shape, or form. I love that as the connection to Prince William. I think there's so many different pieces there. So
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, very
nice. Good news.
So much good news. Speaking of good news, Jeff, we have a lot that we wanted to talk about today related to education, because the theme this week is not only a fabulous theme about the art of questioning, which a lot of us are getting into, the power in being good at asking questions, not only teacher to student, but student to student, teacher to stakeholder back. There's so many different ways we could take this. Our guests are going to be phenomenal this week, which we'll get into a little later. But we also have a lot of questions in our Facebook group we also want to get into. So want to transition here? Brainstorm?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. I mean, I feel like we've broken all the other rules, so we might as well talk about.
Do you want to just not do a transition? Do you want to break it like?
Wait,
or do like a different transition, and then we'll come into brainstorm. Do like a random transition, and we'll say that StreamYard broke again.
No.
But then let's just do it then.
Let's just do it.
All right. Welcome back to Daily Drop-In. We're streaming live every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, 7 a.m. Eastern Time, typically on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. But today it's just on Facebook and only on one spot instead of two spots, on YouTube, on Twitch, and not on Twitter. But you get it. And you could be listening right now on the Teach Better Talk podcast. Listen to us afterwards, where all these episodes go up on audio to there. You can find it on all your different podcast platforms. And if you do, it'd be really great to give us a quick like, maybe a subscribe to it, drop us a review. That'd be awesome as well. We're into our brainstorm bank. We could always go to teachbetter.com/brainstorm bank and drop in whatever questions you have. If you're watching live, you can obviously jump in the comments as well. And like Ray said, we have a really good, I'm excited about today because I think the questions, like that theme, is really awesome. And you have a couple guests that are going to be that's their thing. But as you mentioned, we also get a lot of questions in our Facebook group. And so we talked earlier about we're going to go that route today. So we're kind of breaking technology and breaking the rules today. We're if you guys haven't figured out, Ray and I are a bit of outlaws.
What do we typically say? There's no value and lots of value on Mondays. It's like a hit or miss.
It is. I think there's going to be some value, though. So I want to look at, Ray, I'm going to throw, if you don't mind, some questions at you. Or at least one. I may only have one. I say questions, but I might have only prepped one.
Oh, this seems really appropriate. Can't wait.
So one that came in that I thought would just be a really great one for you, because I know you know the answers, and because it's very commonly asked, but I haven't seen it for a while in our Facebook group, but we hear it all the time when we're in building stuff, so I thought it would hit. It's around the grid method, and it comes from Allison Elizabeth. It was last week, whatever, when she asked it. She said, I'm just starting to plan for my first time using the grid method. Do all students have to reach the top level, or is there a certain level everyone has to get to by a certain deadline before a summarized assessment is given? Are students working on different grid, or do they work on the same grid at a specific time? So there's a couple of different questions in there.
There's a lot.
One is, do they all have to get to the top, or is there a certain level? I think the secondary is, I think there's actually three in there. I can pull another one out. Is when should you be assessing, and what types of assessment? And then the third is, are all the students working on the same grid, or they have different grids. So now you're talking about closed and open model and stuff like that. So first off, if you don't know what the grid method is, it's a framework for utilizing mastery learning in your classroom so kids are moving self-paced through the grids. And when she talks about levels, it levels up on depth of knowledge, and there are 5 levels on most grids. So that kind of paints a picture. So first question, Ray, do all the students have to get to that top level?
Okay. Easy answer is no.
No.
And there's a million reasons why. I do want to clarify everything that we're going to talk about. If it in any way sparks interest in you, the easiest place to go is teachbetter.com/thegrid-method. It has like downloads, resources, free courses. Like depending on the type of interest that it might spark, that is always where I push people. teachbetter.com/grid-method. Go check that out. You'll at least be able to like get your feet wet.
Also, if you watch it on something and you're not in our private Facebook group, like she already got a lot of answers on there. So like that's a great place to be as well. Just as like a secondary piece.
I remember this question posting and I was like, oh my gosh, such a good question. People ask us all the time. And I love that our community then brought their own perspectives. Here's the short answer. Because a grid is built with levels that builds the student's depth of knowledge as it goes, that essentially does what every teacher already does and should be doing in their classroom, where they start from basics and scaffold up. The reality is that there is a level in which the standard that you're working towards having student mastered is written at. So for example, if students need to apply a skill, it's a lower level of understanding than if they need to apply the skill to a real world situation. That's typically a little bit of a higher level of depth of knowledge. So as we look into this, whether you're using Webb's depth of knowledge or Bloom's taxonomy or anything in between, the concept of building knowledge on top of itself is really what this comes down to. And wherever the standard is written at really gives you kind of like the minimum expectation for that student to meet, because assuming that the student gets to that level, they've mastered what you're looking for them to understand. Anything above that level is enrichment, which we love being able to provide to students, because anytime you have students working at their own pace, the beauty of that is that your students that need a little bit of extra time have the grace to take the time they need to master a skill. And for those students that are flying through the content, they have the opportunity to get to enrichment. So in lamest terms, no, absolutely not every student should be reaching the top. The students that are reaching the higher levels of the grid are students that are being exposed to those enrichment opportunities. But typically you would only require, in some regard, which gets into a whole nother topic which we won't dive into unless people have questions in the comments, you'd only at least require that minimum expectation, meaning that they got to what the standard was asking for them to achieve. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And Ray, let me ask you, because in the work that I've done with the grid method, a lot of those standards, not all, but a lot of the standards are like that 3, sometimes going into the 4, every now and then into the second level. But a lot of times in that 3 range. So a lot of times, like Ray said, that 4 and 5 levels are a lot of times that enrichment, that extended thinking, that exploration pieces.
It really depends on what you teach, to be honest. Like the standards, the grade level, the topic, all those things provide variety. Just as a pure example, like 6th grade math teacher background, I would have some standards that, like level 1 essentially would typically be like that concrete base. What are the basics that my students need to know to be able to get into this topic? Level 2 would be a little bit in just application, right? How do they actually solve a basic mathematical problem? What are the steps they need to go through to get an answer? And then level 3 would typically be, okay, what does that have to do with the actual real world application? So a lot of my standards as a 6th grade math teacher using Common Core was at level 3, because it didn't just ask the students to be able to do the skill. It asked them to actually understand how and when the skill would be applied. So long story short, yes, most are at level 3, but absolutely I've seen them fall in level 2 and level 4 as well.
Which is why one of the first things we do when you're starting a good method is breaking down those standards and figuring out where do they align, where do they fall, so you know where you're trying to get them to. So sort of built into her question was around assessment. So in a good method, you got all these different things. Kids are moving at their own pace. You have different levels they're trying to get to, but not everyone's going to get there. Some people are going to get there. Some of them it's enrichment. Some of it's exploration. What the heck? When do I assess them? What kind of assessment should I be doing? Like, where do I go?
Yeah, no, it's kind of fun. Obviously, Chad Ostrowski, the CEO, co-founder of the Teach Better team, is the creator of the grid method, and he has a lot of different suggestions that he supports. And then the rest of us who've been able to use the system, love the system, train on the system, answer questions on the system, we all like have our preferences, right? So the answer is you kind of get to decide that as the teacher. I personally have some preferences that I feel like worked really well with my students that I've seen people use and not use. So this is, I guess, at this point, just my opinion. I really loved incorporating my assessments into my grid. And I would do that with formative and summative assessments. We could get into the difference of formative and summative, but maybe that isn't worth our time this morning. The reality is, though,
you can do that Wednesday with Dave.
Yeah, I was gonna say the quizzes, the tests that you might provide, or the projects, the something that you're going to evaluate your students on. I like putting into the grid. I use it as like a step in the learning.
So what does that mean when you say putting into the grid? Like, what does that mean? What do you mean put it into?
Typically each box for me in the grid, I would introduce an idea, have students practice the idea, and then evaluate if the students understood the idea. That evaluation of if the students understood the idea is a formative assessment. So I would actually like have that as an activity, as a step in my grid. I also, if I had like a final test or a final assessment, would put that in my grid as a step that they needed to complete.
It'd be the last box of level 1 or
wherever
it might
summative, it would be the last box in wherever the standard is written at. So typically the end of level 3. And like, as they went through that progression, they would hit a box within the grid at the end of level 3 that would say, hey, it's time for you to take this assessment to prove that you've mastered the standard, and then they would do it. So, I will say, though, I know teachers that don't put them in the grid or do them different ways. I like the organizational structure of having everything in one spot personally. So I think that answers
it. Kind of the last part of her question was around this. She asked if our students work on different grids or do they all work on the same grid for a specific time? And the answer is yes.
Yes.
Could go either way, but can you break down how because you did you run open? You didn't run open, did you?
I never ran open grids. Okay. And I will say, again, the answer is you can do whatever you think is best, but I will tell you, I very much have a preference. And even though Chad has 1,000 different options for this, I've heard him multiple times in workshops say, if you're just starting out, do not run multiple grids at once.
Yeah.
So if you've been using the grid method for years and you want to like try something really wacky and difficult, go for it. Like, it's the ideal way something would operate. However, I just never got there, and I didn't get there for a lot of reasons. It wasn't because I didn't think I couldn't handle it, like I wasn't capable, but I really loved the beauty in my classroom of starting a grid together and ending a grid together to then start a new grid together. It was kind of a culture element of our classroom. So I really loved being able to start a grid, have students work with it, work at their own pace. Some students would get to enrichment. Some students would only meet that minimum expectation of mastering the grade level standard, which was a huge celebration. And then we would all stop and all start another grid together.
Yeah, which I guess I should have. I didn't really lead us well when Ray and I are talking about open versus closed. Open meaning when a student finishes a grid, they move on to the next grid before whether anyone else is there or not, which requires you to have all those grids done, or at least a few ahead, right? And we have a few teachers that have very successfully done that, and it's really cool to watch because they might have 3, 4, 5 grids going at once. But the most common way, and like you said, like definitely recommended when you're starting is closed, which means there is a deadline where you're going to stop. Now that might shift based on how your students are doing and where they're at and what they need. But like Ray said, like there's a benefit in that because you're all stopping, and then now you're able to move on together. You're kicking off that grid now together each time, versus you might have 25% of your class halfway through the second grid, a few starting and some still here, which can be really cool, but can also be really, really tough to manage.
I will say, though, as a teacher, there are different management skills that you need to have in both circumstances. And there's different like core values that you need to have as a teacher. And I don't mean to like silo anyone, but a core value in my sixth grade Illinois Common Core classroom was collaboration. And I knew that if students were in different grids, that collaboration was going to be a different style of collaboration than if they were all working within a similar content, whether it be an enrichment or at a lower level. And so as you're thinking through what your focus is as a high school teacher, as a higher ed college teacher, you might have a core value of wanting students to do something else in your classroom, and maybe working in that open model is something you're working towards. I think there's a lot of different layers here. So as you guys determine that, we regardless typically suggest that you start with students only working at one grid at a time. And then as you become a master at this process, you absolutely can see the pros and cons and try things out different ways. So
So I have two more if we have time.
I was gonna say we gotta go quick because we also have to recap.
All right. So one is that we have a lot of people in our group that are constantly asking for example grids. Does anybody have a fifth grade math grid that I can have or that I can look at to get an idea or whatever it might be? And we see a lot of that. And fortunately, we have such an awesome community there that typically they get a whole bunch. But if I post that and a few hours later, like no one's comment, the next day no one's comment, I'm like, man, I really need to see examples of it. Where can I go to get that?
Okay, 2 suggestions for all of you. Actually, 3 suggestions I liked. Sorry, I'll go super quick. One is educationblueprint.org is a nonprofit that we work with that essentially curates a library of resources that you right now can not only go share the incredible things you're doing, but also you can go snag like other teachers' lesson plans. It's essentially Teachers Pay Teachers completely free with a nonprofit spin. We really, really love the work people are doing.
With a special focus on the grids. There's a million other things you can get there, but they have special grids are a very specific piece of that too. And they are currently in the process of upgrading everything on the website. So it's going to continue to get better and stuff. So all right, that was one.
Print is a great spot to go for examples if you're not in the private Facebook group. The private Facebook group, by the way, has 1,000 examples.
Yeah, you get lots of examples.
I also would suggest, I really feel like when you're getting started with a grid, asking for an example is because you want something to go off of. You don't just want to start with a blank slate.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite suggestions is to book a time with a Teach Better team member. I'd love to be your person. You can head over to my Calendly link, calendly.com/Ray Hewart. Book a time with me. I'd love to brainstorm sketching out your grid. Essentially in that meeting, just to give you some background, you're the content expert. And we get to be the brainstorming partner to help you facilitate how you put your information into a grid format. So if you ever want that, let's set up a Zoom call or a phone call. I love that. The other thing is we have a lot of examples in our full and free course in the Academy.
Yeah.
So if you're not a part of the Teach Better Academy, that's teachbetteracademy.com. We release a course every 30 to 40 days. There is specifically a free and full course on the grid method, and that course has a lot of examples in it. So things to check out.
Awesome. Last thing, and then I know we got to go into preview in a week. But this was posted 5 days ago by Ashley Brown. Said parent conferences coming up. Does anybody have a good template for what the teacher talks about or shares with the parent? Not necessarily looking for a template right now, but Ray, sort of any tips, tricks, ideas for parent conferences?
Yeah, wasn't that funny that was posted? I was uncomfortable commenting on it. So guys, can we just tell them spoiler alert?
Yeah.
Okay, spoiler alert. That's our course for October coming out in the Academy. Literally coming out in October. We have a course on parent-teacher conferences coming to all of you. Not only parent-teacher conferences, tips and tricks, but actually how you can incorporate student voice in the process.
Super cool.
Katie Miglin and I put this together. We're so excited. So we're in the process of getting the last pieces done before it publishes. But if you're a Teach Better Academy member, you're going to get that already for free in your, what is that? Their feed, their little, you know what I'm talking about?
They're My Courses dashboard.
Thank you. Their dashboard. So if you're not an Academy member, and you want this course, go become an Academy member for at least a month, and then you can cancel it and I won't tell anybody. But anyway, that will be coming out in a few weeks, and I was so excited to see that. So, all
right, so that's a few weeks from now. But what about right now? Can you give us 2 to 3 just tips, top level? I know we have less than a minute, so short and sweet. Things to keep in mind.
Communication is essential for parent-teacher conferences, and having a goal of what at the end of the conference you're looking to have done. Your goal can be the feeling within the room. Your goal can be a relationship. Your goal can be a collaborative effort. Your like whatever your goal is, every single meeting you walk into for parent teacher conferences should have a goal that at the end of the meeting you can measure your success.
Ooh, I like that. That was good. Nice job. Less than a minute too.
Well, we
Impressive.
did just record like hours and hours and hours.
I figured you probably had something still in your head, right? In your mind. All right. That was good. Awesome.
All right. Should we recap the preview the week?
Yeah, let's preview the week.
All right, guys, we have an exciting week headed our way. We are thrilled to be able to share this with you at the tail end of our daily drop-in. We've had tech issues, which means we already got you covered on the hurdles that you're going to be going through. My computer is about to die because, why not? It's 7:45 in the morning Eastern. So we're just here to bring you a little bit of laughter, a little bit of positivity, some fun tips and tricks, and then wish you a wonderful day because we've already done the shenanigans for you. So we're thrilled to be here. Upcoming this week, we want to make sure you tune in. Tuesday morning at 7 a.m. Eastern on the Daily Drop-In. Tom Schimmer is joining us. He is an incredible podcaster in our podcast network, but he also is like an expert in questioning. I cannot believe this worked out.
This dude is like seriously sought after. He is all over the country all the time, speaking to teachers and admins all over the place.
Like what he does.
Yes.
I'm kind of nervous to interview him tomorrow. Like I'm gonna need a little bit of like deep breathing exercises.
Tom is such a good down to earth guy though. I got to hang out with him Thursday for our podcast network mastermind. Like he's just such a good guy. Fun guy.
Such a good fun guy.
Yes.
He's located on the West Coast and we're thrilled to have him bright and early in the morning. So that will be one you do not want to miss.
No.
So set an alarm or at least remind yourself to listen to it after the fact if you can't make the show, but that will be one that will be noteworthy. Wednesday, we have the one and only Dr. Dave Schmittou joining us. Oh my gosh, can you think of anyone that wants to talk about questioning more? I can't. Dave Schmittou is a question master. So we will get into all that as well. On Thursday, we have Andrea Bittner joining us, who I'm so excited to have her dive into this. And then Friday, of course, ending strong, like always, with the one and only Brad Hughes, which is an official member of the Teach Better family. We're thrilled to celebrate Brad.
Is that out now? Is that out?
Oh,
that's out now. Woohoo!
Brad is now.
That's my excitement, Brad. Sorry, it's just a woohoo. That's all you get.
Yeah, we're so stoked. Brad is officially part of our Teach Better team. He's been a part of our family for a long time. He was an incredible ambassador with us. He's part of our podcast network. He blogs with us. He's part of our mastermind. This guy does it all, and we are thrilled to officially welcome him in as somebody who will continue to help our team facilitate really wonderful conversations. Over there, Jeff Gargis with the Black.
Just want to shout out, say what's up to Dr. Basil Marin in the comments there. Good morning, sir. And I saw Megan and Karen sneaking in too. So anyway, just wanted to, I did the hand raise because usually that's you, right? Ray does this literally in meetings. Ray will be like, I'm like, it's you and me. We're the only ones here. Like, and I'm like, I don't know where you get it from because it's not like you were a student for the last 10 years, like raising your hand or something.
I had a rule, Jeff. I don't know if we've ever talked about this. Like, students were not allowed to raise their hand in my classroom. Like, it was like, we would like, that was terrible. I was going to say we would like shame them. That's not really fair, but we would. It would be like, the whole class would be like, why is your hand up?
And why were they not allowed to raise your hand? How do they let you know that they needed something?
Well, we would talk about how our room is a collaborative space to learn. And so if you needed something, you just needed to find an appropriate time to share your voice and bring up that you needed something. So just like we would in an adult meeting or an adult conference, you wouldn't have somebody in the room like
I mean, clearly I do.
I know I ruin it all the time. But the point was that even in the middle of a lesson, a student would be like, excuse me, like they'd share with their voice, like, I have a question, or how would this work? And it was practicing kind of the art of knowing when somebody was going to conclude their idea, waiting an appropriate amount of time to see if there was follow-up, and then you sharing your voice. That in of itself is a skill. Yeah,
which is super powerful because you're not only working on like the collaborative and the communication, but also the how are you respectful of someone else speaking and waiting and not being rude while still being able to to ask and advocate for yourself.
Well, and also the only times when this structure was really most challenging is during like our 6 to 8 minute mini lesson. And at that point, we were all just shouting anyway. So
yeah, you guys were just ooh ha ha and shark bait and to infinity and beyond.
We all love it.
I love it. I it's exciting stuff. If you don't know what we're talking about, you'll just have to find out next Monday.
Oh my gosh, craziness. Guys, we are going to conclude our time together because we have been live already for 50 minutes and we all have a very, very wonderful Monday ahead of us. Happy September 27th. Jeff, I really appreciate the goofy conversation this morning. I feel like there was some value. It just, you kind of have to sift through the...
You got to dig. You got to dig through that. We're going to have to really give Chris some very specific instructions to find the value in this episode.
Yes. Shout out to Chris, who is now doing a ton for the Daily Drop-In. He is now editing all the fun of the Daily Drop-In to pull out some clips to share with you on social media. So make sure that you are following the Teach Better team on all of the different platforms so you can continue to get all that fun. Jeff, I hope you have a wonderful Monday of meetings and exciting things in your world. It'll be wonderful.
I'm excited. I hope everybody has an awesome Monday. I hope you're excited for what you get to do today and that you get to start another week. It's exciting.
You get to have a wonderful Monday.
You get to go change lives this week, and that is awesome.
All right. Love you all. Let us know if you need anything. We'll see you back tomorrow morning. Have a good day, guys.